Welcome to Domination series. I will introduce you guys what I already talked about, so it will paint a picture of what the series is about. With David Dobrik, he was stuck in 2021. He barely came back to show his abs, but he suffered a loss in drama. And as you know, that's called cancellation. If you lose drama, you get canceled. It's a very bitter moment. And I think David Dobrik did not deserve this. He was doing a lot of crazy shit, and at some point, it was doomed to hit someone in the head. And well, out of respect, he has done a big ass moment of silence. He has stepped down. He canceled himself for a few years because technically, we want to cancel a person who does not provide a good enough apology. Simple enough, but I wanted to save this guy of like, he probably does not deserve all of the shit he had to go through and should come back with full esteem, full swing back. Then we have the meme, the greatest meme on YouTube. Kind of decoded. I actually forgot, by the way, but the title says it all, right? Most people are, in fact, ants, and you should not forget that. Most people do not contribute to the world of YouTube, and yet, when my video blows up and they have something controversial to say that will fucking enrage me, basically, as long as they have rage bait laying in their pockets, they will throw it at me, these fucking ants, hoping that I will be really upset. They will crunch on my toasts, I will find them in my soup, the fucking ants. They will rage bait me just to see my angry emotions. There's nothing to it. Most people are absolutely pathetic because they're not even trying, and the moment they wake up is just to be nasty, basically. And well, there was a dude who was feeding the ants and couldn't keep up with the act of feeding the ants because now something happened to the ants. They want more. They're hungrier than ever before, and it's like, I have to give them something special and kind of leave the scene. I'm not sure. I'm pretty certain that Avocado just continue eating food on camera and that's just his thing. Because what else is he gonna do? What else is he gonna do but become fat again?
Old, busty, dusty, crusty old scale. We haven't seen this literally in like a month.
He does sound like a degenerate, though, that I don't want to listen to.
Or like 6 weeks. I'm so excited.
But you can see how he makes for a good supervillain. Because he makes you uncomfortable from the very beginning.
If you that, I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed the process of surgery, and I never thought I would sit here and say this to anybody, or even to.
Yeah, because you're fucking weirdo. Again, it makes for good meme content, but you really don't need to spend time with this guy. And I never did, and I never will. It's just a thing internet found very fascinating, and I have to agree. You are the ants, I'll just sit behind this like toxic personality that he built and it's like, yeah, let's call them ants. But the moment he's defeated, I'll stop doing that. I'm not interested in dominating everyone. It's boring. But I do that. I have never lost an argument because people don't want to have arguments. They just want to win, And it's like, how else can you through conversation win if not through an argument of I say something, then you say something, and I say better things than you do. I say more reasonable things. I give reason to more things than you do. So I don't understand how people can ignore that. But yeah, they just wake up, It's like they clicked on a wrong video and they get outraged because their favorite person is being attacked or whatever. And unfortunately for them, just waking up in that particular moment is not going to yield them victory over someone who's a fucking professional. But they don't see it that way, They see they just kicking a can down the road. They don't actually look at me from any bigger perspective than ants, so they deserve to be called ants 100%. Next thing I've done, and I'm trying to mask what this video is all about, but you can skip, obviously, to the point where I start talking about the really nasty shit. The women. I have not talked about women this whole time. Only men on the thumbnail. It's actually quite rare for my channel to not talk about women, because I hate them so very much. Yep. And they have to be dominated, at least in terms of ideas being thrown out there. It has to dominate them. In theory, grab the idea of women and smash that shit, because it ain't no good idea of what women is. It's a very split idea of what good women are and what bad women are. And yet, our society is suffering, capitalism is killing everything that I hold dear, and I have to scream in pain every now and then. And this is what this video is going to be about. But before that, I will remind you the travel we have traveled, because we might just bump into a whammon here and there. After all, David Dobrik did get into trouble because of whammon, you know? And oh my god, did he harm those whammon so damn much. And it's like, which one do you pick? Well, technically it's not women that were harmed. It's a person that got tricked to kiss a woman, and it's like sexual assault or whatever. That's crazy to me. That's just blown out of proportion. And it's like you do realize that sexual assault is a women's topic, and they're supposed to be talking about this. You don't need to white knight that shit. The more white knights actually bolster sexual abuse, the worse it becomes. Women become untouchable, uninteractive piles of marble, basically. The most marvelous and most expensive thing that you can't touch this, you know. Nah. That's it. You can't touch it, you can't look at it without getting fucking, oh, like, why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me, bro? Why are you looking at this person, bro? Why are you trying to talk to this person, bro? Like, we're gonna white knight ourselves into absolute submission, into killing each other because someone touched a woman or whatever. It's just like some crazy shit can escalate. And I don't like that anymore. Okay, white knighting for women? They don't deserve that shit. What are you talking about? Canceling a YouTuber over women? Holy shit, man. Always be careful, because we're infiltrated by women. Women will propose narratives that are beneficial to them, where they have to do minimal effort. We're gonna be us punching each other. There's a very good depiction of that. You've seen this? You know the depiction of men fighting, killing each other, and there's just a single woman sitting there? Yeah, first they try to get close, and everyone is starting to fight each other. And it's like, if we draw blood, the woman has to die first. Like, an incel should be smart enough to just kill the woman, because we're fighting for this fucking bullshit bitch, basically. Some random incel should just come, stab, and end this whole fucking conflict, because 3 men don't have to die for 1 woman, is what I'm saying. But that's what she created, and it's real. It's real, guys. That shit is real. You shall be dominated, incel style. I almost hate that women can now justify themselves of like, wow, they bring so much fucking value to society with such minimal effort. And it's just fucking hell, dude. How disgusting is that? At least Sabrina has some self-awareness of what she's doing, and she doesn't give a fuck, you know? Because she's honest. And that's the part of domination that I love the most. Being honest allows you to actually dominate that much faster, and even utter the word domination as I do it, you know? I can tell you what the brutal truth is from my perspective, as celebrities tell their perspective. Well, she was in a fight for one man. Two women also killing each other for one man. Sabrina's full of fucking shit as well, in a way. Because I don't think that would happen to women. Women wouldn't physically fight in a graphic way. It is something else. Now it's an interpretation because she's involved and like, of course she would be in a brutal fight. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's just a funny meme though for her. Or she wants to tell to herself. I hope you know, like the Ortega video, music video. You gotta keep up. But maybe she tells to herself that she's like so powerful, so courageous, so willing to fight. There's no clear winner because that's the fun part of it, you know? You can't actually win because someone will be offended of like, wow, you just get to win in your music video? Of course she gets to win. What the fuck? And then the man dies, by the way. The man is still a victim. No matter who's in conflict, it's still witchcraft basically. Sacrifice men for the cause. Throw men into war basically versus each other. For God knows what reason. Next, depression. I got triggered the moment he said thinkers. You might have existential depression. You might be a thinker and you kind of created this bubble of thought that makes you depressed because you're so smart. And it's, yeah, I did that. And there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, the world is depressing. It's depressing. Why? Because when you run out of money, you will gain a lot of problems. And no one will step in to help you out unless you scream for help, and then maybe one in 1,000 people will be willing to help. 1 in 1,000. Significantly help. 1 in 100 will give you a few pennies. 1 in 1,000 will give you significant amount of help. And that's just how loud you have to scream for help. And someone is going to change, the roles are going to change in society of who is trying to help you. So it's worth sitting there and asking for help over and over again. But a lot of people, wash their hands of like when they really have to do something, when they really have to commit, they wash their hands real fast. Like in the recent conversations in the comment section, I found a dude who's very loud and proud. I gave him a reply. I gave him a long ass reply. And then that dude shrunk into an ant. That dude shrunk into the size of everyone else who writes one line and tries to not give a fuck anymore. I look at that as a defeat, as a demotion of a human demotion, basically. A person who thought they had something, but it didn't work. It didn't work. They tried it didn't work, man. They rejected themselves, they got defeated. There's nothing more satisfying to look than a fucking defeated man. That makes me slightly better. That makes me feel like I'm dominating, guys. That I'm actually winning arguments and nobody's actually understanding. But that's a big deal. To win an argument against someone else, like I dominated. I'm better than that one other person. And that other one person. That's probably a whole grown up adult, 45 years old or something, made a family, lived his life. And I still dominated his fucking ass. It's like, guys, you do realize this is not fucking fun and games. And when some cookie cutter doctor comes on the platform, basically, because he's Indian and he can just, become a doctor, just like every fucking Asian out there, every human portal guy, he will become a fucking doctor. That's what he wants to do. And now he wants to fucking spread his disease all over. Spread his viewpoint all over the fucking internet. And he's very good at actually infiltrating. Doesn't mean that he understands every single aspect, but he's not a bad person. He's not a rat. He's maybe a raccoon, but he's not a rat. Because the advice is very sound and simple. You just need improving. You feel like you're stuck. You feel like you're moving in parallel motion and you just need like actual self-improvement. The funny thing is, you don't. Humanity is improving. You just need to ride the wave. If you are depressed and you just a walking corpse, you will still be happy because humanity is moving forward. You're still moving in a slow pace, but you're moving forward. And obviously, anytime you have to double check if you are actually fighting yourself, if you're improving yourself. You can't, you're going to be depressed if you try to solve the world's problems. That's not how life works. You have to solve your problems and acknowledge that the world is generally improving in some kind of direction. It's not going to be in all directions, but some kind. You got to you direct yourself, you got to find that direction, you got to take advantage of it, and your depression will disappear because things are not getting worse. That's the whole point. They're not getting worse. And you have to discover people like me, which you have done. Have you subscribed, please? Mm-hmm. So you don't want to keep discovering me over and over again. Because I'm not like anyone else you've ever met. It's like Mr. Beast levels of uniqueness happening here. Gurus try to be a little bit more humble than me. I can't control that shit. I have not bumped into a person who can actually dominate me. So I start my, reign of domination. A little bit of a series, a little bit of side quest. For I'm feeding a power puff. As Nayon's side quest or storyline. I don't know why. I don't need a reason why. Just made up a storyline that sort of resonates. After all, Twice did not disband yet, while Blackpink did disband, so Twice is now was the second biggest K-pop group, female group. So now it's supposed to be the biggest. Now they're starting their domination. It's a very interesting year, I would say. Next, video number 4. We have drama, right? And we always need support. We always need to lean onto something to be able to make even better arguments, even more punchier and stronger arguments. We don't want anyone to die because of some kind of fight and some kind of beef, drama, basically. And it's always good. It's almost good that iDubbbz is constantly losing grip on creator clash because creators shouldn't fucking clash in a boxing match. Like, that is a little bit of a fucking disaster. And it's almost like a very nice wake-up call every single time creator clash is about to happen. There's some kind of wake-up call happening, basically, to kind of repel iDubbbz from doing the damn thing because it's just not a good deal. People shouldn't be proving their strength to each other. They should prove how many problems they can solve in one day. That would be fucking fascinating. How many problems can you solve in one day? We would have less problems in the world. That's a win for the audience and a win for the people competing because they at least prove something, in actually a parallel motion, because if you're a very strong problem solver and anyone can participate in equal level, they don't have to have a big body build anything. They just gotta solve problems. Thank you very much, dude. Solve world's biggest problems. And instead, this is a charity event. Basically, it's a problem of it on its own terms. So I'm glad that it's like Creator Clash is not getting the clout it wanted, or it's just kind of canceling itself. I'm actually glad. I don't support that shit. But I also don't support people who are toxic on the internet much more. Alright? That involves H3H3 and his little fucking rant, his little rampage that woke up iDubbbz, and he's like, I wouldn't want to be friends with that guy. That's all he thought to himself. And he put down a bunch of arguments of why being friends with a toxic dude is probably not the best fucking thing to do. And then I kind of transitioned into the topic of IQ. It was a rough transition. I hope I can still dominate. Because high IQ people don't want to be toxic. Now, if this happens by accident, so be it. But there's no reason to be toxic. There's no reason to say insults to anyone. And we see the ants do that thing. They start from being toxic. So if you associate more with ants than with high level people, if you're not improving yourself fast enough and you're depressing everyone else around you, you can see how the domination kind of stacks. Drama, the depressing drama, where one creator happens to like the ants more than his friends. See how everything just stacking? Like perfect fucking pile of blocks. And then the next step. And the next step after that. I introduced myself into the mix of like, I am the dominator here. Let's not forget that. I am your father. I am here to deliver as much information as possible to, to put myself forward, yes, but now I'm dominating, so I don't even have to do that. I feel like I have done enough to myself, and I will do a lot more, pretending that I am completely next level, completely untouchable by 1,000 men. Some people say 100 men can defeat gorilla. I don't think they can defeat me. And we're talking about full-scale war, Full scale, 100 men versus me. Not even 1,000 can defeat me, is what I'm saying. And people have tried. I mean, in the comment section, why can't nobody defeat me in a fucking argument? And I believe that not being able to defeat me in a fucking argument means that 1,000 men will not defeat me either. Overall, if we go full-scale war, 1,000 men will not defeat me because they will be fighting each other. They will be like, why should I fight? They will disband the fight in the first place. So like, this guy is weak. I'm not proving anything by fighting this guy. It's just everything will still continue fall apart as if it's sand, as if these men have no bonds, no actual reason to fight, no drive to fight, nothing to prove, and everything's just gonna fall apart. It's like, okay, I win. But you win nothing. Yes, I win everything. 1,000 men have been challenged to team up against me, and they would fail. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. And obviously the rules would be that you cannot just kill me, That would be too easy. If you could just scale, you have to influence me, you have to make my life miserable, try and do that. And 1,000 men are already surrounding me at all times. They're just not very well organized. The moment they would be organized is the moment I will start winning. Because they want to understand what the fuck they're doing. Again, my friends, this is just an example of something that has been brewing for a decade now. For a fucking decade. This has been trickling down and brewing incel after incel with bad intentions of like, something bad has to happen to them fucking women already. I just need to remember that, what we're talking about here. In the shadows, in the midst of this video, there's a narrative that stacks on top of everything we have discussed. There is an enemy among us. There's someone missing in the Domination series. A reward, maybe. Where's them whamming? Whamming! Yeah, okay. Anyways. Obviously, I just wanted to make the most powerful statements here when I'm introducing myself. Like, come to $0 basement. Is the coolest place. Everyone would love to live in a $0 basement because it's hard to find one now, isn't it? Uh-oh. And that shit's supposed to exist. And that exists for, Who that be? Refugee. Oh man, they get $0 basement and all the other bonuses basically. That's so sad. But they are angry. They are boiling another set of political incels basically. Political incels who will want to wipe the shit them out basically because refugees got introduced by force, so will they be kicked out by force? That's just how life works. You cannot force anything because the force will force things back to normal. You know, things will be reversed by force just like they came in, they will come out. That's it. You force something and I will push back. That's it. That's what usually happens. You cannot break other people and you have to enjoy the ride of like forcing and then being pushed back, and it's like that's fine, that's fine. That's respectable behavior. It's confrontation is what it is. Someone is forcing and you push back. And you have to participate. There's no other way. That's just part of life, my friends. Someone forces something upon you, you have to force back as far as you can. And a little bit of extra on top for your own sake. So here's me, introducing myself into a problem. Because you don't know what the problem is. What I talked about are billionaires. The enemy that everyone has, them billionaires, and they are the enemy. There's no way around it. There are real billionaires, there's political billionaires. There are real billionaires in public, and everyone's talking about it. It's like, what are they, cool kids or something? We should be robbing the shit out of them. They're not cool kids. Yeah, they already given us some value, but a lot of people want money too. They need money too to be able to live good lives. And if they don't get that, guess what? They're gonna be pissed, and we're gonna have to funnel that anger towards someone. So I rather billionaire fucking suffers or opens their pockets and employs more people. You know? Billionaires should not exist. Money should be spent. Money should be pushed into economy. Government should be pissed too. But government is also a very fucking degenerate thing. So I immediately mention of like, if you're American, you have to pay taxes, no matter where you are in the world, to America. Which is crazy to me. You know? All of a sudden you have to renounce your citizenship. You have to escape this bond that you have with America. And there's shit like this all over the world. There are bonds that you can hardly escape from. This shit gets really tough. Ignore the black and white bullshit. It's just a dark page effect. I hope you understand that. And technically it's a recent upload, so you can see it here pretty easily. People need to position themselves where they see all the problems. So being in a $0 environment, when you can accumulate money and all that shit, people go homeless for this stuff. But they invest into Bitcoin or something, and not just invest into your future, feel safe, buy things you need to establish yourself as a human being to get yourself comfortable. Alright? And every now and then spit into women's face because you're not gonna share money with them. And don't be OnlyFans fucking sludge incel type of person. Like, come on, dude. Don't feed women too much. Because they might start sharing before we do. You know? They don't really share their wealth with each other, which is great for now. But when they start sharing earlier, we will be in trouble. We have to be able to knock down these billionaires. We have to knock down shitty systems that make us scared. All the taxations and all the fucking nasty shit. We have to... Technically, Elon Musk is hiding as a billionaire who wants to alleviate tax. So we can allow him to do that, but we will still have to eliminate this guy. Because he's a fucking billionaire. It's like, no, dude. You don't just get to be among us. You fix the fucking problem, and now isolate yourself by, You know? You don't belong here. You're not gonna flex that you're a good fake gamer. This is what it is. Crazy. Elon Musk is the craziest person out there. It's so unlikable, but we project so much value onto him that does not actually exist. Elon Musk barely has any value to offer. He can maybe be good at average programmer that solves a simple government is corrupted because it's old problem. It invades the government because government would use old operating systems, old technology. It would look really like fucking cobwebs everywhere where nobody wants to touch anything. Nobody wants to change anything. And Elon Musk can actually move things around because he's a average programmer. All right? Nothing more than that. He cannot do anything more than that, but we were able to, like Trojan horse, through and through, appeal to the Donald Trump, basically, and Trojan horse a billionaire to fix that most important problem that government is fucking old and has old technology laying around and wasting everyone's time. It's crazy. Waste and fraud is actually a problem that he was born for. And if he's gonna do a good job, we're gonna leave him alone. We're gonna leave that musky boy, the South African, alone. And that's gonna be the most beautiful thing, most beautiful day in his life. Because he don't fucking understand that's his redemption arc, and that's where it fucking ends. We don't want to see his face ever again, because we won't have anything good to say to them fucking billionaires. Zuckerberg, if you're watching this, send me some private data of my exes, please. Like, we have Facebook data, and it's like, you understand what people I'm interested in. You see where I send my friend request. Just give me some data, to chew on. Give me some interesting things. You have a lot of cool shit in there. Oh no, but you would be stalking. Dude, send me a private link. I'm not gonna see it to anyone, dude. And you are also redeemed as a billionaire, and you can start hiding in your fucking bunker after you do that. Alright? Bye. So much Facebook has leached from humanity, and Facebook era just kind of ended. Like, nobody wants to use it anymore. Okay, if the game is over, the social game is over, we have to receive some kind of a participation packages, basically. We participated for a certain amount of time. We wanted to interact with people. We uploaded some content. We need some kind of like a full package, basically, of people we were interested in, people we were researching, quote unquote. And we just want to have some memories, Like, at some point back in time, if I go back in time, I was able to access some extra photos of, like, my long lost ex Monica or whatever, right? I still deserve these photos, man. Dude. I still deserve to send her like a last message, basically, to put it into her package, basically, to send her a package. Decide what to put in the package of, like, a love letter or whatever, right? Facebook is full of, like, this long lost relationships and actually important things that put you to tears. The moment Facebook dies, like, come on, dude, send out some package. If you're leaning all in on Instagram, please bury Facebook in a fucking honorable way, so people actually appreciate the end of Facebook and they can move on, basically. They're not lost souls wandering around, basically, a wasteland, hoping that something will change. The change comes from the platform, from the platform that holds all the power. It's crazy. And we're just being hostaged in order to watch ads and give money to Facebook. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You still leeching? Bitch, please, you can die, Zuckerberg, you can just die. People can just shoot your fucking head off. That's a problem that you might want to solve and make people feel good, and instead of projecting this fucking robot self, you know? It's about time to end that shit. It's about time to liberate Facebook from slavery and bad vibes. To give it a good ending, because that's all that matters. No matter what the fucking story is, good ending can redeem everything. And you will reduce incel population because we're watching, we're waiting. We are sharpening our knives to remove as many women from the board as possible, as quickly and harmlessly as possible, so less men die as a consequence of fighting for women. Whites knighting into each other, you know? And wasting time in feuds and creating this slew of problems. And obviously there's a lot of influence rats that are worth catching and just punching in the fucking face. The real creator clash never ends. It never ends. This IQ fight never ends, bro. It's always the most vicious cycle there possibly can be. Because you gotta teach motherfuckers a lesson on this platform. One more step, and we're gonna get to the video. You can see how long I have been dominating, and how many things I'm holding in my heart as best as I can. My heart will explode. I can't hold 1 more million items in there because things are getting fucking dizzy. I don't know how other people survive, but I'm actually doing work. I'm actually trying to survive and thrive and improve myself all the time, improve every aspect of me, and the heart grows. Unfortunate, I know. Everyone hates that, you know? Grow of empathy, you know? So fuck that shit. So, but some people have too much empathy, and now we're talking about women. Straight up, now, we don't talk about me anymore. I dominate. But you know who didn't dominate? Women. So I have to dominate for them and fix their own fucking shithole, basically. They shit all over the walls and all over the floors. They shit in my bed. They shit in every single type of clothing I wear. They shit all over. They didn't fucking open my mouth, and they didn't shit into my mouth because I punched them away. But man, I opened my room door, and it's like it's shit all over. And where'd that shit come from? It comes from negligence, my friends. Women just don't want to serve. They don't want to dedicate themselves to a better cause because they feel that this is patriarchy, that they're going to be under a man's wing, and that's it, that's where it ends. They're going to be in someone else's private basement, serving them, and as they want equality. So they started with that. That's how it started. The politics started there. And they will end in the cultural enrichment of sucking off black guys' dick, basically. It starts with equality and ends up in the same fucking basement sucking bigger dick, basically, than initially thought was possible. You know, maybe bigger dick is much better in that basement. They say they want equality, and they become fucking piles of shit. Is that equality? I never thought men were piles of shit. I don't think that you reached equality. I thought you reached degeneration. And while a lot of women split away from that fucking mass degeneration, a lot of women couldn't help themselves, couldn't control those bad intentions, couldn't split from feminism, but still call it feminism, you know? Oh, they don't call it that. They just disappear. They're gone. The last time I've seen women talk about anything is 4B movement. And I don't know what that is. I guess they didn't just reject men in the 4B movement. They disappeared, never to be seen again. That's what happens, at least in my feed. I don't see no women. I don't see nobody else secondhand smoking on me about LGBTQ. None of that. Everything died. Besides, some person became trans or whatever to flex. That's not even interesting to me. That shit died. So there's basically a split of good women versus bad women. And suddenly they're so far apart. They're so far apart that the narrative ended. There's not enough propaganda to go around. There's not enough coherent chanting, basically. Witchcrafting, where both sides can actually agree on something. 4B. 4B. Aw, the bad women. I don't even know what B stands for. What 4B? What is that? What does that mean? They just saw Trump take over and it's like, oh, we don't have much power in politics anymore. But we can still attack Europe, you know? We can still attack every other country, right? But they don't have voices anymore. They shut the hell up. Real bad. We used to talk about feminism. We used to put these women into conversation. And it worked for a very long time, but the bad women and good women started splitting, and it's like, what do we agree on anymore? The good women are waiting of like, do we agree on anything at all anymore? Do we agree on refugees? I don't think we agree on refugees anymore. So all of a sudden, they have nothing to agree upon. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen. The moment women cannot agree on something, they do not chant. They do not feel happy about anything that they cannot agree on. That is what it's all about, my friends. And it's pretty obvious why refugee is a problem to women. Because some women get harassed in the streets. Some women get punched in the streets. And all of a sudden it makes them think, maybe I do not agree with this. Maybe I do not side with the rest of the women who want this sort of thing to happen. Because again, women are very politically active as long as they don't have to be front runners of the damn thing. This is why Trump just knocked out 2 women in the presidential race. It's just fascinating. Hillary Clinton. I actually saw Hillary Clinton in my dreams kissing some random women in power. And it's like, wow, you are a piece of shit, aren't you? You are just a weirdo who try to claim power because you're a fucking weirdo. You know? That's what weirdos do sometimes. And then you have Kamala Harris that was a sellout from the very beginning, and there was no way any that women can unanimously just get behind her. That was impossible, dude. Besides, when it comes to voting, there is a threat of like you're gonna insult too many men as well. Voting is not an issue of women only, but it's very difficult to just push an agenda forward when it's just like you put women first. You put women's issues first, and it's like, are you sure that's it? That's the only thing the country needs? Is to worry about women's issues and give them more rights or something? Is that the problem? So Trump wins the election, and the first thing he does is reverse this sort of damage that's being done, basically the refugee disease. And right now, all the war is going on, and we don't really have a dedicated piece of land to send refugees into. We don't have a good solution, but it would be literally the same thing as Ukraine. You know, we send refugees into one piece of land. We try to give them resources, but most importantly, we give them tickets back home, wherever the home is. All right? If you can't survive in your piece of land surrounded by other refugees, if you can't handle that pressure, then we will send you home. There's no more fucking resolutions. That would be my best solution, right? We can send aid, we can send packages, we can send them information of how to solve problems. We can't, however, keep them in the heart of Europe, because that would be fucking weird if we just give them free things forever. I'm saying we should find a piece of land. We can't do UK. We probably should do Ireland, or we can just use one of these lands, one of fucking super tiny places. I don't know. We could have that on land. We can occupy the like lower Italy or something, where it's like really hot, and you would really not want to spend time there. But the climate is not much different from the stand countries where these fucking weirdos come from, or India, right? Put them in fucking lower Italy. Let them flood this fucking place. Put them in like lower tiers. I don't know. You can maybe even flood the entirety of Spain. Who knows who would take this responsibility to hold all the refugees, every single one, and give them very minimal housing, very mass-produced, capitalistic items that are cheap enough, and you don't have to worry about that too much. You give them their own land, they can brew their own culture next doors, basically. They can even build their own country if they want to, but they can't just intermingle as if they already have learned a new culture instantly. They can already, talk English properly. They can talk the language that we don't, in Europe, we don't talk same languages. We cannot just like allow people in on a whim, you know? And refugee is something that's supposed to stay for a limited amount of time and go back to their country when the war is over. It's not even a permanent residence, for fuck's sake. It's just, an act of kindness. That's what women can do as well. They can only do acts of kindness, even to incel, of like, hey, let's give this incel act of kindness so he's not so fucking bitter all the time. Okay, you can do that. But to me, sex is not the city, alright? Sex is not liberation. I definitely need a different type of act of kindness if they want to fucking calm me down. And I don't know how refugees manage to scream so loud that they are the ones needing act of kindness. I can understand that. I can understand building some kind of transitional region. Even like a Turkey is a very good transitional region. But refugees can't just jump in here and be like, here you go. That's the residency that they will take right here. It's like, what? Dude, you can't do that. People have to vote for that, first of all. People have to vote where major amount of taxes are going to go to. What kind of big-ass project. You can vote for that, no? Like, what's going on? Don't government want to know whether most people agree or most people are gonna destroy the government. Just double check. When there's a protest happening, the technology is there. Everything is there to double check if people agree on something or not. Or if people are so divided that you are playing with grenades. And that's it, my friends. We have dominated every single domination episode. Even more. We have added additional fuel to anyone who had doubts that I don't stand on these issues in this particular way. I mentioned this, and there's definitely women equivalents, unfortunately. So let's talk about it a little bit. How do you fight one incel that can actually obliterate a lot of women? Just completely wipe them off. Because where you find most women are festivals, basically. Social gatherings. They don't know where else to go, basically. I mean, if Ariana Grande got a shooter already, or some fucking bomber, who knows what the fuck happened there. I don't know why there's not more of that. We should get more? I don't know. Interesting little drama. Lucky for women, insults are a problem of the future. They're not gonna shoot things up. but they're gonna be those evil people who will use technology in evil ways. And they will become a problem very soon. Now that you can generate AI content and only gooners and incels are creating this destruction of celebrities, basically, guess what? Women will have to start fighting that. The dam will break. I only see like 1 tiny % of all the possibilities that these incels can create, basically. They can violate women in 20,000 ways. They can manipulate the narrative. The only thing that you would AI generate is porn. And you can do game graphics, but it's mostly gonna be violation of someone that you cared about, but they rejected you, basically. So incel's gonna take their revenge. Revenge porn, basically. Who the fuck knows what's gonna happen? You can do whatever you want. I mean, it's already happening in South Korea because they didn't have porn. So AI generating porn is like the easiest fucking gateway towards that, you know? 100 women versus 1 incel. They will have to come together and find harvest positivity to be able to gift to that 1 incel to calm him down. Oh boy, and he might want to have a girlfriend, and that's kind of really scary, you know? The gorilla might grab 1 person and just tear them apart. And they will need another person. You see, just like women had one-night stand dating lives of just keep switching boyfriends, 1 incel will deserve exactly the same lifestyle and will smell those expectations that women used to have, basically, on and put on men of just like, I can switch men. I can just marry a random person and I have solved the world's problems. I don't have to participate in this. And it's like, this is the sort of women that are going to be comprising, because you have to take women from somewhere. There's going to be married women. There's going to be sluts, basically. There's going to be ugly women. You name it, bro. This is going to be a pack of fucking trash. And they will have to produce a woman that would shut up the incel, basically. They will have to produce a finishing blow. And honestly, you thought 100 men versus 1 gorilla is going to be like an entertaining thing to look at? This is what I'm signing up for. This is the shit that I'll be watching day in and day out. This is the sort of drama we need to prepare for. This sort of drama that will create a drama just for preparation purposes only. You know? Prepare for the incel war drama. Incel war. Instead of domination, I will say incel war. Imagine that. Instead of saying K-pop drama or incel drama, I don't know. You name it. Of investigating the power level of incels. Yep. I can't wait. I can't stop saying that word, though. It must have so much power. And in the most recent development, basically, to give you guys a tour of this video that I just uploaded, there's a channel ran by a woman that does scientific research, basically, reads scientific papers, and just starts off with the dopamine. I just watched one video and it exploded my brain. In rage. I couldn't stop fucking raging on this stupid woman who thought she knows about masturbation, and she knows nothing. And she did not research from a proper angle, and it's just like, well, there's guilt and shame attached to masturbation. Thank you guys for watching. Here's some scientific papers that I found. Literally the most amateur thing you can possibly think of. Oh my god. Doesn't understand anything. And technically, yes, science does not understand anything either. But both each other drag each other down, where it's clearly such a simple narrative of what masturbation is. You find a hot girl to look at, you fantasize about being with that girl, basically. You create this like relationship because you can't have a real one. If you could have a real one, you fantasize about a relationship getting stronger, and you masturbate about that. It's such a simple concept. It's just wanting things to accelerate. You kind of prepare yourself mentally. You toy with yourself, and it has real bodily effects because relationships matter. Who would have thought, right? That body would actually adapt to help motivate you to prepare for strengthening of relationships. But this channel couldn't not only break that down, it was actually feeding absolute dog shit to the incels. Meaning that incels gonna be that much more angry, at very least, when they discover that they have been betrayed, that they have been misunderstood this whole fucking time. And this channel is old, and I watched the newest version of talking about masturbation. It's crazy. It is crazy. So I completely understand, and I completely adore. As big of a ban this warrants on YouTube, but like I am trying to explain to you guys how big of a problem this is growing to be. This is gonna be something women will have to face. And all of this domination now, like a hot potato, is delivered straight to them. Will it burn their hands? Will it make them scream in agony? I don't give a fuck. It's their problem now. You have been dominated.